of the Chiang Mai Expats Club. I hope those of you who do celebrate Thanksgiving had a wonderfully thankful day yesterday, or whenever it was. And I actually had turkey from Australia. That was the best turkey I've ever had. It also had something to do with the cook, but and I wasn't the cook. So anyhow, so this is our last general meeting in 2023, what? Oh, 2022. I'm sorry. I am both sad and excited that I will be leaving Chiang Mai and returning to the U.S. On the 24th of January. So I will not be up here bothering you again, but we will hopefully. Please think about, it's a really fun job, especially if you like boring people and talking to people. And once you get your speakers lined up, then you just kind of get things organized, put together your agenda. The event committee is in charge of setting up the room. It works that you need to then coordinate with Shane and get your speakers to get their videos to him, then it really goes pretty smoothly from then. And I think I have primary speakers set up, maybe 4 of them, certainly lined up, maybe not assigned yet. But the hard part is finding people, finding and locating speakers. And I hope I have done a good job to make sure that the person who stepped into my shoes takes over. Thank you. Okay, our first speaker, our primary speaker today is Peter Cook. I'm sorry.
Peter Bell.
And Peter Bell. I do that all the time. I am so sorry. I called you Cook. Okay.
I call him all kinds.
Right, I call him a taxi for that matter. Okay. Peter has a children's sight project that is doing many wonderful things. He's a retired optometrist, and he will now take over. Thank you very much.
Okay, good morning everybody. My name's Peter Bell. I'm here to discuss the children's sight project with you. And in doing that discussion, I'm hoping that we may get 1 or 2 more assistants to come along and help us test the children, okay? You'll understand that better once you see my whole project here. I'm a retired optometrist from Australia. I'm not quite sure if my retirement's complete success or a complete failure. I think it's a success. So let's get going here. Can we turn up the volume a little?
Give way to get Shane to get some exercise.
Oh. It is a video, but it's not really, is it? Let's start again. Okay, I'll talk to you whilst we've got a blank screen. What the Children's Sight Project attempts to do is to go out to a whole group of schools and we test the children's vision and we prescribe spectacles for them, and you'll see we actually prescribe a little bit more than spectacles in the videos which I'll show you. We can do this at a very cheap price because these companies here, Asia and Hoya back here, give us all their product in kind completely for free. Whatever lenses I want, they give me. Whatever frames I want, they basically give me. Okay, so we can supply a pair of glasses to the children for 250 baht. Okay, that's what it costs us. Most of that cost is printing and getting the lenses fitted. There's no other costs involved. Are we ready to go, Shane? Oh, yes. Here we are. This was a school we did in February this year in Sansai. This was done with the Pinkai Nam Rotary Club. They sponsored this event. We go through the process of near vision screening in this screening process. This is for selecting the frame. This is the distance screening process which goes on. You'll see this boy in the end starts to get a bit frustrated if you can't see it. And this is testing for reading ability, vision at close range. The school teacher sort of organises the students to be in class at the right time for it. Okay. This is a young girl doing a distance security. You'll see a little bit later on here in this eye that she'll start to screw up this eye to try and get some clearer vision. This, for the Rotarians here, the next photograph is very Rotarian where everybody lines up and has a photograph taken. Okay, today I just want to run through what the whole project is about. I want to do an overview of the project, look at the history, look at why we moved from a screening program to a comprehensive eye program. I've got some data on that later on which shows that's what we should be doing. I'm going to see the use of tablets for low vision. I don't mean medicine tablets, I mean iPads. And then I'll show you a unique lid problem that's only in the Asian community. It doesn't happen in Western European, okay? And we'll have a look at funding and a whole bit on my percentages and data, okay? That's pretty obvious. We provide free spectacles, and then I had to add visual aids to the students because we added something different. We used to visit schools every year and do select grades. Now we go back every 2 years and see the whole school, or from grades 3 to 12, because grades 1 and 2 have very little problems. If we find grade 2 students with problems, the teachers tend to bring them and say, can you test these 2 children, please? We do, there's no problem. Our history, we go back to 2015, and I was asked to do a clinic with a Rotary Club, but it wasn't children, it was all adults. So we changed our plan and then started doing children only, okay? And now we, instead of visiting about 30 schools a year, we only visit a total of about 11 students. That's our plan, okay? Because it takes us longer to do a comprehensive test. That's the bottom. This doesn't mean much to you, other than the schools we will go to will be from Lampun. Let me get this. Lampun, Sansai, the school for the deaf where we're presently testing the children, then out to Mai Tang to see about 7 schools in Mai Tang, okay? And then the last bit at the bottom is an interesting place to go, is this is a mouthful, it's the Chiang Mai Juvenile Observation and Protection Centre. You probably better use the term just detention centre. It's for grades for years 12 to about 20 who are taken off the streets for misdemeanour. That misdemeanour now is dealing in yaba, mainly. They try and get them on the straight and narrow so they don't end up in prison. That's their aim. They have about 70 there at a time. They're sort of trained like they're in the army. Okay, now we're going to get to somewhere interesting. You tend to think of the Children's Sight Project as glasses, glasses, glasses. Well, we're going to change that. If we look at this girl here, she's got no sight in her left eye, no sight whatsoever. She's got partial sight in the right eye. And when I mean partial sight, I mean this letter here, she can read here. Okay? So, and when I first met her, I looked at her age and she was 5 years older than the rest of the students in her grade, because we do them in grades, so you soon work that out. And I asked her, why are you much older than your counterparts in your class? Because I was thinking her problem was her vision problem, why she didn't come to school for so long. But it was simply economics. She said, we had a large family, poor family. Mum and Dad couldn't send all the children to school at the same time. It was that simple. So money is a big issue, especially in schools. They might say that they're free, but they've got to buy a Scouts uniform, a sports uniform, a standard uniform, and it goes on. And that's expensive. So what I'm going to show you here is her using her iPad, I'll say yeah, it is an iPad in her case, for the first time, to get magnification large enough for her to read. You'll also notice that she's wearing her glasses here as well. Okay, so let's get rolling here. And I'll talk you through it a little bit here. Yeah. This is a girl called Jam Nguyen. I remember her well. And she'll start to, the teacher will instruct her how to use this iPad. You'll see that she's wearing reading glasses as well, and you'll also notice a bit later on that she'll turn her head to the left to get more vision in her right eye into a field of vision where she can see properly. See that turn that's happening? She's doing that because she can't get central vision. And you'll see her magnify it up to a size she needs. And you can see the size that the print is here. So she needs 4 or 5 times magnification. She's actually getting more than that because the glasses add to it. Okay? It's a bit quiet there, but you could actually hear her reading. She's a pretty smart girl. This is the first time she's used the iPad, first time. I thought we'd have to do a few trial runs, but no. You'll see there she made it bigger for a while to get it more comfortable. She's actually thanking us here. Okay, this is the next one. Now, if you wake up some days feeling that things aren't so good, this boy here was born deaf and blind. So you're feeling better now? Yeah, I think so. Rightio. What had happened to him, and we weren't aware of this, but if you look at this eye here, you'll see the small black hole there. What the surgeons have done, and I imagine this is a few months of age, they've actually cut a small hole there to let light in, because there's no pupil. It's completely closed over. Okay? So he wears a cochlear implant now. He'd been right through the school for the deaf education system. He now works in the kitchen there. He's 29 years of age. So let's have a look at the next little video of him with the iPad here. There's no sound, so I can talk over this. This is him having a acuity test. You'll notice that this eye is jumping around all over the place. It's gone. And this is his first time at using the iPad. But they seem to know how to use them to get the magnification. So he'll take a photograph of what he's trying to read, and then he will expand it out to magnify it. And that's how big it's got to be for him to read. I think you're all feeling a bit better now that you only need a pair of reading glasses to read, hey? He's doing sign language there for each letter, that's what he's doing. That means clear, swang, okay? Now we're going to move on to a normal school out at Chiang in Port. These are all a boarding school for grade 7 to grade 12. This school, we went from vision screening to a comprehensive eye test. Well, we'll take you through each step here. We also do BMIs on the children and collecting data on that. One day that's maybe a talk for late next year for us. So we collect their heights and data. I want you to think about, what do you think at this school was the percentage of obese children? What percentage? When it finishes, we'll come back to you. You see the children, so give you an idea. That's the children just filling out their registration forms, telling how old they are, what class they're in. And here we're doing distance. You'll notice that we use this chart here to do the distance acuity because it's much more accurate than other distance charts. And the rooms we set up here, we stay there for the 6 or 7 weeks until we've finished all the children. We leave the equipment there, they lock it. So they're very kind to us. When I did screening, I did not do this test here, I just didn't have time, but now we do. We always try and acknowledge our sponsors. Actually, I set this up. I said, show us how you selected a frame. She rushes through to get to the frame she wanted. You watch. She just puts it on and says, yes. So that school took us 12 days of testing to finish. Over 280 students. Okay, this goes through fast here. I'll come back to that in a minute, so don't worry, okay? Who sponsored this project, this school? Pat Corey, one of your members, okay? She left us 20,000 baht. So that was really good. Okay? So this is a school that you catch them doing other things than eye tests, so they're school bands are a big thing in schools if you've never been into a school here. So that's just a photograph of our team at different days, that's all. And the children want to be in there as well. So, you've forgotten my question, haven't you? Yeah. What percentage of the children were obese at that school? 20. I'll take another offer. Hey? 60. Well, you're all wrong. It was 25% underweight, 5% obese. Maybe that school is because they feed them. They cook all their meals for them. In fact, when we were there, someone had given them a whole lot of crocodile, and the kids would come in every day and say, "Oh, we're sick of crocodile." We said, "Tastes like chicken, that's all right." So what you think is obese here is maybe not correct, eh? Maybe not correct. We get a chance now, because we're at the schools for a period of time, to actually go back into the classroom and take photographs of the children wearing their glasses, or making sure they wear them. So this is a very special school out at Lamput. It's a government school, but it's privately funded for children whose parents can't look after them, basically. So they come to this school, no fees whatsoever, no uniforms to pay for, no nothing. Okay? So it's a very special school. They live there. Okay? So they know each other very well. So they're very small classes there. Okay, this is the unique problem, and you might say, ouch, when you see this. If I show you, this is a more normal lid here, okay, with the eyelashes pointing out. This is, well, all that now is rolled back in, and the lashes are coming down, growing up from inside. Okay, can you get the idea of that? It's like this, I'll show you. The lid is normally like that with the lashes out like that. What happens is the lid turns back on itself until the lashes grow in and graze against the cornea in its fall. So what I do with this situation, I'm not going to do surgery on them or anything. Most of them are probably not at the degree that they need surgery. I hold a workshop at the end with these students who I've collected, and I sit down with them and show them the photographs and explain to them how to manage the condition should it become a problem, and then sit them on that slit lamp, one either side, so as they can examine each other and get an idea of what it really looks like. Okay? So they get a bit excited. They're a bit shy at first, but they soon get the idea of what they're there for. So the idea is an education of, in the future, what they should need to do, when they need to go to surgery, when they need to get antibiotics because there's a little scratchy, not to go and swim in the dirty clombs because if they've got scratched corneas, the risk of infection is immense, okay? So it's just an education program. But what percentage? I'll show you what percentage. At Chiang Mai Expats school, we had about 2% of the school. You'll say 2% is not much, won't you? But Glock Home was only 5% for the world. So within the Thai ethnic group, 3.2% of them had it. We're getting the same at the School for the Deaf at the moment, same percentage. Yeah. And the reason for that is the muscle insertion in the bottom lid is faulty and it doesn't come down low enough to pull the lid outwards. And also, Asians have a little bit more fat in their lids. Now, you all know that because all the girls go and get surgery on their upper lids, don't they? What they do there is they do a small incision at the top of their lid. They don't cut anything away, they just remove fat and sew it back up, and then the lid will fold back. That's as simple as that. So, a bit similar things happening at the bottom lid, except the muscle insertion is faulty. But it is a bit ouch, it's a bit scratchy. This is the School for the Deaf we've just done. You'll see the dates on it. We've got to have the school class teachers with us doing sign language for every school, with every student. We try to enforce mask wearing, but the children have always got them in their pockets. You're right, Mark, eh? That's the team for one day. This is doing the distance security testing again. And mask wearing always isn't 100% achievable, but it's okay. This girl's wearing glasses, but there's no power in them. She just likes wearing them. So we've got them everywhere in every society. Now we've got a little dance routine at the end. Some of the kids have got some hearing, can hear the rhythm a little bit. Don't do this every morning. Okay, the school for the deaf percentage of prescriptions is a bit higher than normal. I'll show you that in the next graph. It's about 10% is in our normal population, but as you're probably aware of, the deaf children are a special population with not only hearing problems but sight problems as well, higher than normal. And they run at about 20% at the moment. We haven't finished, but that'll stay about that. With the school, all their students are recruited from this northern area of Thailand here. Otherwise, they've got to go all the way to Bangkok for the other school for the deaf. I'll tell you a little story about the school for the deaf, because it was actually started by a Rotarian because his son was deaf, and he went to the government education department and said, "I'd like to set up a school for the deaf in Chiang Mai." Now, you probably guess the government official's response. He says, "We got one in Bangkok, what's your problem?" But the school for the deaf went ahead. The Neiman family actually donated all the land that the school is built on. Okay? And many other people donate money into it. I think the teachers get paid by the government. This school tends to have a few more Karen and Hmong than we get in a normal population. Okay? I tend to feel that the Karen and the Hmong have some hearing genetic problems. This is data collected on my first 6,000 patients who I prescribed glasses for, right? And this is their age down here, but the important issue is, oops, I've gone too far, go back. Is grade 3, where we start and go through to grade 12. And you can see, you'd probably say 10% is a pretty good estimate of what your glasses prescription rate should be. You'll get clusters and that'll change and vary, whereas the deaf school are up here at 20%. Okay? So they're almost double the normal population. But we also have layered on top of that, there's a different prescription rate for the different ethnic groups. Please ignore other, because other probably involves Malaysian and Chinese that came out of the detention centre. The takeaway message really is Aka and Hmong normally have a very low prescription rate. But when we went to the deaf school, the Hmong had reasonably higher rate than that, maybe 7 or 8%. So
You can see they're a special population. They're higher than normal because they're genetically quite different. Okay? So if we sort of put all that together for you into the grades at the top here and different ethnic groups, and then we look at Chiang Mai, which is a normal population. Actually, they had a few more Hmong than I expected, and a little bit higher, more like about 6%, isn't it? And Akaras, they've looked at the graph and said, no, we can't have any glasses, so it's good. But that school had 8.53%. That's what I call normal. Okay? You want to take a photo of that? You can't do that. Okay. I mentioned earlier on that how I went from a vision screening program where the children did this, did reading, did colour vision, did stereo vision. I would look at the form and say pass or fail. And I was getting a little dissatisfied with my results. I thought we were underreporting some. So I looked at this Chiang Mai school. In 2020, this was a screening program. 6% were given glasses. When I did a comprehensive, 8.5% did it. The reason for that is 5 of the students, when I examined all their data, passed this test, but needed glasses. Now, all of you with a prescription, you probably won't be amazed at this, that someone of -5 can actually read these lines without glasses. How do they do it? They've got strategies to reduce the size of their pupil by closing their lids down a little bit. Okay, I've sat next to them and they've gone through it, and I said, I think this person's a little wayward here, and sure enough. And that's that 5 there, which is about 2%. And then the lid anomalies, which weren't picked up. So rather than getting like 6%, we're getting 10% now being picked up. So that's significantly different. I think it's worthwhile. I asked this question. I think you know the answer. No. Not in my mind as an optometrist. I'd rather see less children and make sure everybody is covered rather than seeing a lot more and missing out on 2%, 3%, 4%, depending on how good you're doing that. Okay, where do we get our money from? Well, as I said at the start, we didn't need a lot of money, but hey, we'll go back. The Chiang Mai Expat Club has sponsored it. We'll go again. Chiang Mai Tin Tai Nam Club, that's all right, and sponsors. Everybody actually puts in money eventually along the line, okay? Now, we've examined over 10,000 people. What colour is his eyes?
Blue.
He's Thai. Have you seen a Thai with blue eyes? Anybody put their hand up? No. He's the only one we found. He's at the school for the deaf. Okay? Yeah. His skin is quite brown, so he's got a lot of pigment, so it's just the pigmentation in his eyes are very low. So if someone tells you everybody in Thailand's got brown eyes, you say, no. Or you know one's got blue. I think they should use him for advertisements on TV. So how do we get information out to you to tell you what we're up to? Basically through Facebook. I have a page. On your table is, you can go on there and like us, and you'll get an update every time we do a clinic somewhere, and we'll publish our 6-month and 12 months booklets as a flip page in Facebook. Okay, that's what we like to do. Does it work? Yeah, some people see it and offer us money. Yeah. So that really brings me to the end. I'm not about overtime, a little bit. So I've actually got a question for you before you get to answer. I get to answer your questions. The girl with the iPad, you remember, with the low vision and. That was on the microphone, you know.
You couldn't see it?
What?
You couldn't see it?
And this girl that had the low vision and needed that iPad, who is going to be brave enough to put their hand up and say, you would issue her with a Thai driver's license? And why? You're not going to give her a driver's license. Why not?
Because she can't see.
She can't see? Of course she can see. She see this? She could be driving your silver van. What part of the Thai driver's license standard is she failing?
Peripheral vision. No.
Yeah, everyone fails peripheral vision. If she went into the driver's department, when I was there the day they did peripheral vision, no one understood it. They had it all set up wrong and they just passed everybody. And they don't always do it. She could pass the driver's license in Thailand because there's no visual acuity standard for a Thai driver's license.
It's colorblind.
She'd see the colours on that. She'd see those.
But that's the only test.
Yeah.
Colorblind.
They do colourblind. They send you to the doctors and look at your throat to see if you can drive a car. I'm not quite sure of that. Well, they did with me. The doctor looked at the painting on the wall and said, "What colour's that?" I replied, "Magenta," which he didn't quite get the humour there, and said, "Okay, you're fine." No, there isn't a standard. Thai driver's license standard does not match any other driving standard in the world. Okay? So that might make you think next time you're getting one of those songtales, eh? Okay, now, has anybody got any questions? I'm not quite sure if I've got an answer.
Why does that type of...
Where do the spectacles come from? How are those funded?
Okay, the frames come from We Do Asia, which is a German boys company in Bangkok. I simply wrote to him many, many years ago and said, "Would you do this?" He said, "How many thousands would you like?" It was that simple. If I say I want some round metal frames, 100 of them, he'll send me that. I say more cases and cleaning cloths, he'll send them to me. No problem. The lenses come from Hoya, which is a Japanese company set up here in Thailand. I have an agreement with them to so many pairs a year, but it's only so that's why it was very easy to do. I just went to them, maybe because I was optometrist, they just said, okay.
Next question?
Yeah.
Why does that type have blue eyes? Is it a genetic thing or...
The blue eyes is
Yes.
a result. Your colour of your eyes is not the colour of your eyes. I'm going to dismantle that myth that you inherit the colour of your eyes from your parents. What you inherit from your parents is the amount of pigmentation. Behind the iris is a layer of pigment. The more pigment which is there, the browner and darker your eyes will be. The less pigment, the more likely they'll be blue or green. Right? Because of the blood supply there now starts to shine through as blue. There's not so much pigment that it's got to go through. Okay?
Any other questions here? Oh. Any minders in check? I didn't see you over here.
Peter, I suffered from an eye disability. At age 17, I lost 2/3 of my central vision in both eyes as a result of a hereditary condition then called Leber's disease, now called Leber's optic neuropathy. It's very rare. And I'm very used to taking photos of things and blowing them up on the computer and the iPad. But in relation to what you've done here, what, apart from the eyelash condition, what are the nature of the causes of the eye defects?
The biggest, like that 10% of the prescriptions, 9.5% of that would be short-sightedness, and 0.5% would be long-sightedness. Okay? It's very low here. Astigmatism, if you understand your prescriptions, is reasonably low here, except for the people who've got high astigmatism. They've got quite a lot. So, but they're a small pool. Most of them have very little astigmatism, which is different to the Western society. Nearly all of us have got astigmatism of some form. Yeah.
Last question, anybody?
Apart from educating us as to what you're doing, what is your main objective in coming here today? Are you looking for financial contributions? Are you looking for human assistance? Or what? What are you looking for?
I'm looking for both those. I'm looking for a few more assistants to come along. That would be really nice. I've already got about 6 or 7 self-volunteer by reading your newsletter already before today. And a couple more would be really good, because I know if I start with 10, I'll end up with 4 or 5, you know. It won't take long. As far as financial assistance, I think the Chiang Mai Expat Club will be part of that system. The Chiang Mai Tin Tai Nam Rotary Club will be part of that, and a few other individuals who want to come forward and say, we'd like to give you 5,000 baht because that'll cover a school or something like that. More than welcome. Okay?
More? Great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.